What's up, guys? Trevor Smith here. Today, let's recap a movie called The Colony. The story begins in a frozen future, where the entire world is buried under endless snow. Humans once created machines to control the weather, but those machines failed, turning Earth into a lifeless ice wasteland. Now, some of the survivors were living in bunkers under the ground called colonies. Suddenly, an alarm goes off in one of those colonies. Two people appear, running for their lives. Something very dangerous was after them. They reach a door, but it's locked and the unknown presence killed them both. Meanwhile, in another colony, a man named Sam was repairing a satellite dish in the cold. Then he sees that some people are coming out with a sick man. The man begs for one more day to recover, but a man named Mason did not listen to him. He believed that they had already wasted a lot of food and supplies on him. He pulls a gun to shoot him, ignores the rule that the man himself was asking to die outside in the snow. Sam immediately intervenes, reminding him that the rule is clear. The sick man must choose his own fate, either a bullet or exile in the snow, and this rule should be respected. But Mason did not care about these things. He kills the man, calling it necessary for survival. When Sam returns to the colony, he finds out that people living here were living with very few supplies in a congested place. The colony is running out of supplies, and even small diseases spread fast. Last time the flu killed 20 people in just a week. Seeing this danger, their leader, Briggs, made a strict rule that if anyone falls ill, they will be immediately sent to quarantine. And if the condition of the sick people does not improve, even after staying in quarantine, they have to choose one of the two options. Either they would take a bullet and die, or they would go on a long journey in the snow, where death was certain. Still, the people tried to survive. They took care of each other, they worked hard, and grew plants from seeds. But now their population was not the same as before. With each passing year, food and supplies running low. Rumors spread about a better place, somewhere far away. A place with warmth and feels like heaven. But Sam believed that's just a myth. He went to the leader Briggs and reported that Mason had broken the rules, which led to a sick man's death. Hearing this, Briggs was upset, but he has a bigger problem. In the communication room, Copper revealed they were receiving continuous danger signals from Colony 5, repeating over and over, but no one answered. Realizing the seriousness, Briggs called for a meeting. Meanwhile, Sam met Victor, who handled the animals, and learned things were worse there too. Victor revealed that the last rabbits were born dead, leaving only 12 rabbits with just one female. And the biggest problem was that the other rabbits did not want to have sexual intercourse with her for reproduction. The lack of food was becoming a major issue. Briggs later confronted Mason for his behavior, but Mason showed no regret and argued that those who went outside will eventually become food for others. Sam then met his lover Kai, who was looking for food for the rabbits. She was confident that the weather-fixing machines were still hidden under the snow and could work. She remained hopeful and tried to find the machines with the help of her radar. Soon, everyone gathered for a meeting. There, Dexter was repeatedly explaining to his wife that she should not cough in front of everyone, so no one will doubt her. Dexter appeared nervous, acting strangely with his wife. Sam noticed this and questioned him. Dexter says that they were fine. Briggs then informed everyone about the situation in Colony 5. He announced he would take a team to investigate. Mason opposed this, saying food should not be wasted during such a difficult time. But Briggs ignored him and asked Dexter to join his team. However, Sam knew Dexter and his wife were not well. To protect him, Sam offered to go instead and asked Dexter to stay back and take care of the turbine. Despite his father Victor's opposition, his son Graydon also joined the mission. After preparing his team, Briggs made Kai in charge of the colony in his absence. Suddenly, Dexter's wife sneezed in front of everyone, creating panic. People covered their face in fear and moved away. The husband and wife were immediately quarantined. Mason once again demanded that they be tested right away. Briggs scolded him and clearly said that no decision would be made yet. After this, a small boy was shown walking through a snowstorm while facing strong winds and sees his mother lying dead on the ground. At the same time, Sam suddenly wakes up. It's the same recurring nightmare about his past, and the memory continues to haunt him. Kai takes care of him and reminds that it was not his fault. The next day, the teams set out their mission. They had to walk through freezing snow and powerful winds. That made every step difficult, but they kept moving forward. On the way, they crossed an old abandoned city and found a weather machine, but it was broken and not working. After a long and exhausting journey, they finally reached an old bridge. Snow had covered most of the surface, hiding the weak and broken section beneath. They tried to cross it carefully. Briggs walked ahead, leading the team, cautiously placing each step while keeping his balance. Suddenly the path where Briggs stepped on broke apart, and he almost fell, but he managed to save himself by grabbing onto the side railing just in time. On the other side of the bridge, they found a car with a man's body and the gun in his hand. Inside, his entire family was lying dead. They quickly understood that the man had killed his family before taking his own life, so they wouldn't suffer in this hell. After walking miles through the endless snow, they found a crashed helicopter and decided to stay inside it for the night. Graydon had never seen a plane or helicopter before. He was completely stunned and couldn't take his eyes off it. He kept looking around with curiosity. Meanwhile, Briggs called his colony through the radio, trying to get an update on the situation back home. Cooper told him that Dexter and his wife were getting worse, while Mason still insisted on being tested. Briggs warned that if Mason crossed his limits, they might have to use the force against him. Later, Graydon found an old magazine, and others started teasing him about it, to lighten the tense mood. Briggs mentioned that this is the same place where he met Sam many years ago. Hearing this, Sam went quiet for a moment, then slowly began telling his story. He explained that, when he was a little kid, his family and others used to hide in old mines. When their supplies ran out, they were forced to eat dogs and horses just to stay alive. Later, some went into the city for help, but never returned. People began dying one by one, so Sam tried to take his mother and sister somewhere safe. Unfortunately, they got stuck in a snowstorm, and everyone was separated. Sam never saw them again. If he hadn't met Briggs, he wouldn't have survived. The next day, they finally reached Colony 5 and were shocked to see bloodstains outside the main gate. As soon as they entered, they smelled smoke. Going downstairs, they even found more blood scattered around. In fact, it was the same alley that had been shown earlier. The colony was supposed to have around 50 people. Briggs gave a gun to Graydon, and they carefully searched the area. Every alley told the same terrifying story, blood smeared across the wall. Belongings scattered like people had vanished mid-step. They thought no one was left alive. Just then, a faint, broken voice echoed from behind a locked door. Sam didn't hesitate. He broke the lock and kicked it open. Inside, they found a man lying on the floor. As they approached, he started shouting. They calmed him by saying they were friendly, and they came here for help. That man, whose name is Leland, asked them to immediately close the door. After taking food and water, he tells them that he had been trapped there for days and didn't know if anyone else was alive. But then, his expression changed. He said his colony had repaired its antenna and received a message, which he showed them. The video showed a man standing in a snow-free area. He claimed his group had repaired a weather machine and melted the snow, creating fertile land for farming, and they just needed the seeds. Unfortunately, the video cut off midway, leaving the location unknown. Leland explained that his team tried to find the place, using the signal but failed. Instead, something dangerous followed them back to the colony. Sam asked Leland to mark the location on the map, and Briggs promised to take him back with them, safely. But Leland refuses. His expression changes completely, and fear takes over again. No matter how much Sam and Briggs try to convince him, he doesn't change his mind. For him, That small room is the only safe place left. With no other option, the three of them decide to move on. They gathered supplies from the room, and Briggs tried to contact their colony using the radio, but there was no signal. As they stepped out of the room, a sudden horrifying scream echoed through the colony. Leland panicked and locked the door from inside. Now Briggs, Sam and Graydon move deeper into the colony. Soon, they spot a flame glazing ahead. Hoping for survivors, they approach. But what they saw is terrifying. A man is cutting a dead body while others feed on human flesh. They've turned into cannibals. The butcher senses them and turns, but Sam shoots him instantly. The gunshot alerts the rest of carnivores. They wake up from their sleep and charge at them. Their leader shouted loudly and started chasing them. Sam shoots their leader, but the bullet hits his ear, killing the other. And they fight at them with all their strength, but there are too many of them. They can't fight back. So, to slow them down, Briggs threw dynamite at them, causing chaos, but Graydon got separated from his group. Before he could escape, the cannibals surrounded him and attacked. Sam and Briggs immediately reached there and fought the cannibals. They killed them one by one, but when they checked Graydon, it was too late. Graydon was dead. They had no time to grieve. More cannibals were chasing them. While running up the stairs, Sam shot another cannibal, but ran out of bullets. Briggs broke the stairs to stop them from climbing up. Unfortunately, one cannibal was already there. Briggs fought the cannibal and killed him. The rest of the cannibals reached there, and their leader shouted in anger. As soon as Sam and Briggs came out of the colony, Briggs threw dynamite at the gate to destroy the tower and blocked the way out. They walk on the cold, freezing snow. When they find the same old helicopter, Briggs decides to spend the night there because the temperature is dropping rapidly. While sitting there, he started talking about those cannibals. Briggs said that humans can do very dangerous things to stay alive, and then he shared a story of his old days in the military. Briggs said that during the camp, 20,000 people were gathered in the stadium. Soldiers were distributing food, and doctors were treating the sick. But as soon as the food was over, the situation got worse. Those who had guns started snatching things from the weak, and the senior officers started to decide who should live and who should die. Mason was in Briggs's team at that time, and they left the place together so that they could find a place where there was no such problem. The next morning, when Sam and Briggs woke up, they found out that the cannibals had come very close, following their footprint. Sam was afraid that the cannibals would reach their colony. They both ran fast and reached the same old bridge. There, they made a dangerous jump and crossed a part of the bridge and then placed a dynamite stick on the road. They hid behind some broken boards nearby. Unfortunately, the dynamite fuse was extinguished due to the strong wind. Briggs went there himself, and it was getting very difficult to light the lighter due to the snowy winds. Some cannibals jumped across the bridge, but they fell straight down. Finally, Briggs lit the dynamite, but he didn't run away from there. He intentionally let the cannibals come closer to him and started fighting so that most of the cannibals would get caught in the explosion. Suddenly, the dynamite burst into Briggs's hands. In this explosion, Briggs died and the middle part of the bridge completely broke. Sam saw that. Some of the cannibals, along with their leader, were on the other side, and he was staring at him angrily. Sam didn't have time to stop, so he started running towards his colony. Meanwhile, Mason started doing whatever he wanted, ignored Dexter and his wife's requests, and shot Dexter's wife